y'all. Hey, y'all. Not just your screen, because nobody knows where Waldo is unless you know the backdrop. We are excited. Charlotte and I just got in super late last night, didn't we, Charlotte? Did we get in late last night? Yeah. And today we're matching. See, we have matching dresses on. So she wanted to match today because we still have to go up to San Antonio. It is starting to become that time of the year. And if you're in politics, you already know. So I'm not going to say it out loud, but it is. What, man? I'm sorry you hurt yourself. There, it's all better. Okay. So we've got the most amazing ladies in Texas here with us today. We have Miss Patty Tibbs. Miss Patty. And then we have Miss Rachel.
Yay, Miss Rachel. We have a fan club.
Y'all do. She's the founding member of the Women on Wednesday fan club here on Texas 411. Simon, we won't ladies, I don't want y'all to be upset or disturbed, but we're not going to have Simon with us in the comments today. So I don't know who's going to keep us on task. Hopefully Charlotte will. She's not a very good producer, but she's in charge like she is. So we'll see what happens. So how are you guys?
Great. It's a beautiful sunshiny day.
We're here.
Did Simon finally stop doing his rain dance, Miss Patty?
Yes. Praise the Lord.
Yeah, it's been raining a lot down here also, and the back window the blinds were open in the back, and I looked outside, and the grass I think is taller than Charlotte. So somebody's gonna have to get out there and do something about that eventually. But it was kind of funny. I was like, oh my gosh! I guess we've had a little bit of rain. We've had a little bit of rain, which is needed. There's still much more needed all over the place. So we have a lot of topics to cover today, but I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because we should have a guest coming on at around 10:15. Miss Heather, of course, in Plainview.
We can't hear you, Sandra. Something happened. Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
Started
okay, Rachel, it's up to us.
Talk about, right? Nope, can't hear you at all, ma'am. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, what's up with that? Uh-oh. I smell
try
bacon.
That.
I smell bacon.
Can y'all
been messing around?
Yes. In the bag.
I think I smell bacon somewhere.
Just none of the pictures have started changing yet, so we might be safe. I don't know what in the world has happened.
Okay, I'm gonna do to you real quick.
I'm gonna be like Todd Hunter. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, I'm gonna do to you real quick what I always tell you I hate when you do. Did you read it?
Yes. It says I'm going to let God fix it, because if I fix it, I'm going to jail.
Okay, that's my motto for that. But you see how hard that is to read. Okay.
I like it. But I don't have the full screen like you. Okay, hold on. Here's what's really funny. I need you guys to understand that Miss Patty has a television in her living room that she watches Texas Fully Loaded on. She's not watching it on her phone. And the television Charlotte is just as tall as the television is.
Actually, I'm watching it on a laptop today, and that was from my cell phone to try to prove a point. But anyway, yeah, when it's on the big screen, it is different. In fact, Charlotte walked in there and she was like, whoa. And then she would run back into this room so she could then run back to that room and see herself. So it kept her busy for a little while.
How
and
fun.
then for some reason she decided to slap Walter. And she really slapped the TV.
Did she really?
Yeah.
So anyway. What's funny, what y'all don't know is that on Monday night before the tea party started, we get there to Citizens Grill, and Walter had just been being Walter and was just annoying me all day long. And so then I told Charlotte, I said, man, I'm gonna pinch him right in his nose. But I just kind of said it kind of funny. And then she sees him and she walks right up to him and she goes, wham, right in his nose.
He handled it well.
He did. She's little, but she packs a punch.
Right? That's your bodyguard.
Should have been bringing her all along.
Yes.
Bring her all-
That could be good and it could be bad. So
Oh, that's very true. That's very true.
what you whack somebody in the nose like Arthur,
Like a bad
brothers?
Like,
It might not go over so well.
That's true. Or somebody that I really need whacked in the nose. What's funny is so y'all don't of course know my grandmother. My grandmother was a shopaholic. She loved to go shopping. And we had some time to kill on Monday. Charlotte and I did. And I've never been to the mall there in the Woodlands. And we were just looking for something to do and just walk around. And it is a huge, huge mall. Now, I will say I do have some critiques, but it's a huge mall. And so we were excited that we got to walk around such a big mall. And she wakes up the last 2 days now. Well, yeah, yesterday and today. She goes, I just want to go back to that big mall. And I just started laughing. I was like, you are your grandmother, your great grandmother. Y'all never got to meet, but I'm telling you right now, that is her great granddaughter. So that was kind of funny, but there was signs up all over the mall, especially in the food court area, that said that it was that no firearms were permitted. It didn't say the words gun free zone. It did say, and I should have snapped a picture of it, but it said that firearms were not permitted because they are they have their own protection at the mall. They have security, roaming security. After what just happened in Allen, Texas, let's just pick on Texas, right? How does that make you guys feel?
Well, not very good if the security is the same security they've had, which is a mounted patrol outside that have no guns. They have horses, but no guns. So they can run away. But I'm sure there's probably some security there, but the only security they flaunt the fact that they have a mounted force in the Woodlands. In fact, they're even out close to us because the Woodlands is basically right at the edge of where we live. And they have actually mounted patrol that go out there, but they don't have any arms.
Is this private security or
that's what it said?
Or the sheriff is private security?
It's a private, it's the Woodlands type security.
Right. So they have no authority. They have, I mean, it's just it's something just to make people feel better, but they're not actually going to do anything.
And I don't even think they have a lasso or anything where they can like lasso the bad guy. I mean, seriously.
Something.
But one of my biggest concerns is that this is Montgomery County, Texas. This is supposed to be the most red county in the state, and they had those signs up, and that was concerning. It was really bothersome. That I'm like, if our rights aren't protected here, in a very highfalutin area, and Walter kept calling it the hood. He's like, I can't believe that you're taking your daughter to the hood, and I'm like. It's one of them. Are you kidding me? Like it's very fancy over here, right? And then I saw those signs and I was like, oh, maybe that's what he meant.
Well, I've lived in this area for 40 plus years. Crime is fairly low here because our sheriff's department is very good, and they do patrol. You don't want to get busted for a crime in Montgomery County,
right?
But at the same token, the Woodlands is not a city. It's not incorporated. It's a township. Mm-hmm. So they have different rules in the Woodlands than we in Montgomery County do. I bet there are people.
That's something that I want to talk about in just a little bit because of the Death Star bill. But we have Heather here with us, and she's only going to be able to join us for just a couple of minutes. So I want to have her on, and you guys haven't really gotten the chance to meet her yet, right? I don't think so. So Heather, welcome to Women on Wednesday.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, of course. We truly appreciate you and your courage and stepping out. And I received a note from a mom. I want to share this with you really quick before we get started, because I know that last time we spoke and last time we had you on the show, you had talked about how you had to you pretty much have gotten rid of all your social media, at least deleted the apps anyway, because there's just There's a lot happening right now, and it's understandable. But one of the moms in your area, she said, "I am so grateful that this family has come out."
Oh,
And I said, absolutely. It starts with one person having courage. And she said, amen. And so I know that when you're going through the lumps, it doesn't always feel like it, but you are inspiring a nation and your district and the state. So congratulations on the courage that your family is showing. How are you guys?
thank you. We're good. When I hear stuff like that, it makes me want to cry because I appreciate the support. We're doing good. I know my aunts, they're still real stressed. We're gonna have the protest tomorrow, so they're kind of getting nervous. My cousin, she's doing well. She does keep having her nightmares and stuff, but I know they have found a Christian counselor for her. So hopefully that'll start helping her do some healing, and we just keep giving her lots of love and just we're there for each other as much as we can be.
Now, Miss Patty and Rachel, I get to talk to her often. So if you guys have questions or want to say something, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to do that while I pull up the flyer for Thursday.
Well, I recently spoke to one of our judges here, who has the mental health court, and I spoke to her this, and she hadn't heard about it, and she was appalled. So I'm sure that the story is being told to wake up parents around not just the state of Texas, but around the country.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
that this sort of mentality, that and the kind of problems that y'all have gone through are something every one of us need to be on the alert for, because
Yes.
it's not normal, and this is not the way it should be. And I'm sure that'll come reckoning day. God will
Yes.
have the ultimate say on what happens, but we're praying for your family, and we're praying for this sweet little girl, and even these boys, because they should never. All of these children are going to be affected,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
they shouldn't be. I mean, this is something that should never have happened.
No, thank you so much for your prayers.
Oh, Rachel,
did you want to say something?
Yeah,
I was
well,
like,
I was
she looked
just
like she wanted to
thinking
say
about
something.
yes, like what you were just saying, Miss Patty, about even these boys, because they've been exposed to this pornography at such a young age. I know for me, back when I was growing up in the, like the 80s, the 90s, to get access to pornography, I mean, it was like you had to seek it out. You had to really go and look for it and find it, but it's just not like that anymore these days. I think I read a statistic the other day about the age that children are exposed to pornography for the first time, and it was single digit age. I mean, just ridiculous how young kids in our society today are being exposed to this pornography, and it is damaging.
Yeah, it has a big effect, just on adults. So imagine a child whose brain is developing and they think at an early age that this kind of stuff is normal and acceptable.
Well, and their brain is just not ready to process that kind of information. They're not mature, they're not developed. It's just completely should be restricted, off limits. They're not ready for any kind of sexuality, period.
and Rachel, this this makes me more convinced that that items like this need to be exposed to school districts that are allowing pornography in their schools at young ages. And it's coming in the library, it's coming through the librarians, it's coming through who knows what. But these children are being supported by a school district. And this is a proof that we don't need pornography in schools, period. I mean, we don't need it there. Our kid, it's messing up our children. And this is a good way to show these people, this is proof. These young children their lives were changed because somebody somehow allowed them to see this sort of stuff, and then they started acting it out. And at that age, it ought to appall every person in the state and in the country, because 6-year-olds just shouldn't be there.
Right.
In fact, I
6-year-olds
think
should be
8-year-olds
playing cops and robbers, not let's make a porn video.
Right.
Well, that's right.
Not
should be-
undercover. See what I did there? I related. Never mind. Go on.
Okay. We're going to have to send her.
But I
If she
do-
misbehaves, we're going to send her to timeout today.
I do applaud you, Heather, and your family for taking a stand and putting yourself at risk,
Yep.
because your family obviously has become a target
Yeah.
because of this, because of your decision to speak out and speak up and make sure that people can see what is happening and what can happen when your kids are exposed to this kind of garbage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to touch on that, now there's rumors going around, since I have not said the word alleged with anything that I've put out there. Apparently someone who works at the school told my close friend that they are going to be coming after me with a lawsuit. And I'm like, well, I don't know if y'all are saying that to scare me, but it doesn't scare me. So have fun with that.
Well, I mean, I don't know how anything is alleged when
Yeah.
they even come out and said, "Well, it happened."
Mhm.
It's on our laptop, so
Mhm.
I get it. First of all, you're not a lawyer. Number one.
Mhm.
Number two, you are the victim's family and the victim's the spokesperson for the victim. So I don't understand where they were going to really have their grounding or their
Yeah.
standing, because
Yeah.
they came out and said, "Hey, we've got this proof. Like, it happened."
Yep.
So if the word alleged is supposed to be on consensual, yeah, it allegedly consensual, yeah, because it wasn't consensual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
that's
stupid.
just intimidation. Just trying to intimidate you.
Mhm.
But, you do notice that the school district took up the laptop, the proof, right? They have that.
Mhm.
So they kind of control the narrative unless somebody else has a,
I believe it's finally in the hands of the FBI. Finally. And we're like, well, how do we know nothing happened to it up until this point?
yeah.
Right. You don't.
Mhm.
Yeah. I wish I had more faith in the FBI, but at this moment,
Yeah. We're just going to keep on making noise until they just get tired of us and have to do something.
Well,
but
and
we'll
that's
keep on
exactly
praying
it.
for you until it happens.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's a great segue. I'm going to put up the flyer. Now tell us a little bit about what you told me in the text message last night, and what people should be expecting, and all of that fun jazz, if you will, for tomorrow.
Yes. So, initially we wanted to do the protest at the board meeting. At this board meeting, they will be voting on the superintendent's contract extension. So that's why we all wanted to go there and meet there. But now everyone's getting scared of our rally and saying that, there's going to be so many people coming from all over. We don't know what their intentions are. So we have heard, allegedly, that the superintendent is going to have SWAT and all kinds of extra hands there, because they just don't know what to expect from us crazy people. And we're like, this has been peaceful. Our other protests have been peaceful. We want everything to be peaceful. But they're apparently going to have SWAT and all kinds of security, because I guess we just scare them.
Wow, that's I can't imagine living in such fear all the time, from yourself.
Mhm.
Maybe if they were making better choices, they wouldn't be in fear. Number one. Number two, I have yet to be at a rally or a protest ever where it has not been peaceful. Even when I went to the Matt Walsh event in Houston at the University of Houston, and Antifa was there. So I think that they're wanting to feel like victims.
Yes.
So
Yes, just trying to
that's
paint the victims in this case in a bad light.
well,
Yes,
that's what
I
they've done
agree.
since the beginning.
Yeah. People I run into in town are like, well, are you ready for Thursday? And they kind of hint that, well, yeah, we don't know what could happen. I mean, we know y'all are peaceful, but we don't know what kind of people are coming in. And I'm like, everyone coming is peaceful. They're just trying to make everyone seem like we're so scary. And that's not the case. It's ridiculous. So we'll see tomorrow if they do have their SWAT team and everybody else that they apparently are going to have. It's
We held
crazy.
a protest here in Laredo during COVID, and they had all of their police and SWAT and all that kind of stuff also, and they followed us around the entire city because they point blank told us that they were planning on making arrests, and I'm like, well, I don't know who you're going to arrest.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty it was kind of funny, and we proved to them that we weren't some crazed people like they were hoping that we would be. We just wanted to make sure that our voices were heard. And, I think that it's very explosive in terminology to assume that a protest is going to be not peaceful, especially when you have judges who say peaceful protests like what happened in Portland and things along those lines, which were the Antifa protests that were the furthest thing from peaceful. I've been to protests and rallies all over the state of Texas, and the only people that cause problems are Antifa.
You're not allowed to say that, Sandra.
Allegedly.
No, I'm just gonna say that all the time. I'm like, come on, you're dumb, but okay, allegedly.
Yeah. I do have a question. Is this teacher on administrative leave?
The teacher is, the principal is still there, and the superintendent is still there, allegedly. And stuff has been happening all year long.
Allegedly.
I just feel like it's negligence on the principal's part, big time, because stuff with the same boys has been happening in the classroom since fall and winter break. So, yeah.
Wow. So I did hear that allegedly 43 teachers resigned from the school board or from the school district. Is that true?
Yes, we looked at the website and now there's 46 job openings. And before all this started, I think there was just like 16. And so I'm like, well, something's going on if your teachers are running away.
Have any of the teachers given a reason for their resignation? Why?
I'm not sure. I've had one teacher reach out and give me a statement anonymously. But from what I've heard is when all this started, the superintendent kind of told everybody, you're not allowed to speak to anybody. You're not allowed to tell anybody anything. Anybody who speaks to this family or the media will be fired. So I don't know if a lot of them are just wanting to get the heck out of here before that happens or what. But I haven't heard any stories on why they are quitting. I'm just guessing on that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're quitting in kind of like in protest to the administration. It sounds like.
Or to protect themselves from being further investigated. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just because you quit doesn't mean you can't be investigated.
Well, no, but it kind of removes you a little bit out of the eye. But I mean, who knows why?
Yeah. But I do know there are 46 job openings. So if anyone wants to work for our amazing school system, there's jobs.
Well, and I think that because how many or do you even know how many positions are available in your school board, or in your school district in the first place?
I'm not sure.
Because it's not a ginormous place. So I mean that just seems even under normal circumstances, right? Let's just pretend like these are just at the same time randomly. That should say something about the administration more than anything else.
Because we have 3 elementaries and then 2 middle schools and then a high school. So I'm like, that's a lot of positions.
That is a lot of positions.
And I'm sure there's going to be more.
It could just be all of a sudden that all of these people are like, hey, I don't want to be involved in school anymore. It could be. But
before all this started, a girl tried to speak up about our superintendent a few months ago, and at that time, a lot of teachers who used to work here, they all are living and working in surrounding towns, or even just working in surrounding towns. And I know a lot of them told her that they did leave because of the superintendent. So even before this, we lost a lot of teachers. Sorry.
Nurse talk. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, well, and I think that that's something that should certainly weigh on people. And we've all got friends that are teachers. I've been speaking to a lot of teachers in different grades and different school districts about what's going on, and they're all stunned by it. They're like, this is an administration problem. You know what?
Yes.
Kids act a fool all the time in school. Even
Mhm.
young ones that you wouldn't expect to do certain things, they do it. But the difference is that the school stops it.
Yes,
The
it's
teacher
handled
stops it.
differently.
The principal stops it. The school board speaks out against it, even if it's internally, and it's handled. This was not handled. This tried to get brushed under the rug, and this tried to get nothing to see here. It's no big deal. Y'all are just overreacting. We're reacting to elected board members. We're reacting to administrators. We're reacting to guardians of children not doing their part and stepping up and speaking out. And that's what people are upset about.
Yes.
Overwhelmingly, because like I said, the teachers are like, you know what, these kids are not the same kids that were in these classrooms 10, 20 years ago. Not even for a second. And I get it. And they're like, after COVID, things got way worse in the classrooms. Like, it is just a hot mess. But if you don't have an administration that's willing to stand up for you as a teacher or for the students, then you're going to have more problems, because we're having these problems over and over and over again in the classroom, on the buses, in the common areas. But we have administrations that are stepping up against this and saying, hey, this is not acceptable behavior, and we're going to deal with the issue, not sweep it under the rug. And that's exactly what Thursday is going to be all about. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. I wish it was under better circumstances, but we will be there.
Thank you.
We'll show the flyer again in just a little bit. I know you've got an appointment, so you need to run. But Heather, we appreciate you. We're praying for your family, and certainly praying for what is going to be happening there in Plainview tomorrow.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys, and we love you guys.
All right. We love you too. We'll see you later.
Bye, Heather.
I have a little food for thought.
Yes, ma'am.
It's 2 weeks till school is out, correct?
Week and a half in some places, yeah.
Okay. The grades are in, if you get my drift. What if every parent kept their kids home? That hits school districts in the pocketbook.
Well, but the problem is that this is the fun 2 weeks, right? This is when they have their little award ceremonies. This is when they have all of their things. This is the stuff that the kids get hyped up for all year long.
I realize that, but we're talking about our child's safety, which is worth more.
Right. What's your priority?
Yeah. What's your priority? You take, if you kept your kids home, doesn't affect their grade, but it does affect the pocketbook of the school district. I think that, we have to learn how to fight these games. Just food for thought.
It's definitely something to think about. I know in some school zones, school boards, they have come out with these crap policies where if you do that, especially for graduating seniors and stuff like that, they will hold their diplomas. Have you heard of those happening before? It's a real thing. If you don't show up for the last week of school without an excused absence or the last two, whatever, then they'll hold your diploma. They won't let you graduate.
I have a better even idea. Let's take those kids out of school, take them all to the Capitol to see their reps.
You mean their reps that are crapping all over their rights right now? Those reps?
I'm just saying you flood the Capitol with a bunch of children. Somebody's going to take notice and and it's an educational day. So gee.
Yeah.
I mean, there are ways we have to learn how to fight and do this, because the other side is doing it. And they're exposing these kids. And especially when you have there's legislation regarding this kind of stuff going on right now. Some of it is being postponed until the hopefully special session, but they need to be made aware that we're not going away. We're going to protect our children.
Hold on. Let me make you bigger. What does it
Yeah,
say?
Yes.
Oh, rules for radicals. Yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
Just started listening to that yesterday.
Yeah. Well,
If you shave your head, we'll know what happened.
Yeah, right. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Hashtag
No.
staying
But I mean,
strong, staying
seriously,
strong.
these people, even though they are supporting the wrong ideas, they're passionate and they're going to get it done. Meanwhile, here we are over here. Well, little Johnny is going to get his participation trophy this week, so we really can't miss it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's true. But you know what? Our biggest problem is that everyone chickens out. That's our biggest problem. How many
Right.
times
And
have we
that's what I'm
showed up at
saying.
rallies?
These people don't. They're
E-
radicals.
Rachel, you and I were both at that rally in the Capitol a couple weeks ago for the how many more? And it was like a ghost town. Now, here's what you want a good chuckle. They're trying to tell people that 4,000 or 5,000 people were there.
Maybe
well,
not
said
even
remember-
1,000 people. I don't
remember
know.
a lot of
maybe
school
400 or
districts have been,
500.
Yeah.
well, remember a lot of school districts have been teaching like Common Core for years. So they have a new way of counting. We
That's
just don't
true.
know
And
it.
even our own is being affected by it.
Maybe they identify as multiple people.
Or
They were
maybe we
counting
just can't see them.
They were invisible forces.
They're invisible.
Yeah, no, it's I just saw something about that too, and it's going to bug me because that's funny stuff. It was I'll have to find it now because there was a meme that I saw that was very very relatable to that subject matter. You know, it really Arthur this morning he said, "Mom, I actually started last."
You're muted again. Stop leaning on your keyboard.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Be like,
Yeah, put your hands in your pockets.
oh my gosh. Anyway, Arthur was like, "Mom, I'm never going back to school again." And for a split second, I was like, "Yes, this is how it starts." And then he goes on to tell me it was because he goes, "Well, there's this girl, but I don't want to tell you her name." And I was like, "Why don't you want to tell me her name?" And he's like, "I don't know that it's relevant." And I was like, "Well, how about you just tell me her name in case I need it?" And he's like, "Fine." And so he tells me the little girl's name, and he goes, "I don't think we can be friends anymore." And I'm like, "But I thought you guys have been friends all year, though." And he goes, "I thought that too. The teacher put her in charge of the classroom. She was mean to me. I don't think I can be her friend anymore." And I was like, "Well, how was she mean to you?" And he's like, "Well, she was trying to just get me in trouble." And I said, "Well, did you get in trouble?" He goes, "Well, no." And I said, "Well, what did she say?" And he goes, "Well, she said that I said bad words." And I said, "Did you say bad words? Because you get in trouble because you think you're one of your brothers once in a while, thinking that you can say bad words and thinking that we didn't hear you." And he goes,
Maybe.
"No, not this
Maybe.
time. This time it was just different. I just don't think I can ever go back to that school now." And I was like, "I think you're being a little dramatic." I said, "Why don't you talk to Penelope?" I said, "Maybe she was just having a bad day yesterday. Did you think about that?" And he goes, "No." Like, y'all know Arthur, he's just all like,
Maybe Arthur was just having a bad day.
that very much could have been more the thing. So then again this morning, he's just like, "Mom, I can't believe you're going to make me go back to that school." I said I was never going back. And I was like, "I know what you said, but also you're going back to school today." Because he loves school. Like, he truly loves school. He's very, just like his brothers, he rules the elementary school. And so it was just kind of very odd for him. But I got a good chuckle out of him being like extra dramatic. So that seems to be a theme in my life. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back. I want to talk about what's happening in the House right now. There's some school bills that are being heard today, and this is something we really need to talk about. So we're going to talk about that as soon as we get back. So y'all grab a cup of coffee, Tell your friends to get up on here. I see some viewers, so I need you to like, share, and follow so that we can break this stupid algorithm stuff. And don't forget, we're on YouTube again. So if your friends don't have social media, we haven't been kicked off yet. So let's see if we can break that streak. Just kidding.
But we're working on it.
We're working on it as fast as we can. Gosh darn it. We'll be right back. We are back with a huge thank you to our amazing sponsors, the Montgomery County Tea Party. Don't forget the first and the third Monday of the month. Be at Citizens Grill in Conroe, Texas. At 6:30 is when the meeting starts. Get there a little early. You can hug next. Charlotte might be randomly there to pinch people in the nose. You just never know what's going to happen at a Tea Party meeting, so make sure you're there. Of course, the amazing Vietnam Veterans of America. Your service and sacrifice goes far beyond foreign shores. You continue to serve and sacrifice and to encourage and empower veterans and their families and enrich your communities. So thank you for everything that you guys continue to do. If you want to learn more, go to Vietnam Veterans of America and find out, get involved in a local chapter. I've gotten to hang out with the guys out there at the Baytown chapter. They're absolutely amazing people. Charlotte, Diana, get down before I whoop you. And also, if you would like to have a commercial here on Texas Fully Loaded, we would love to make your dream a reality. And guess who reached out to us? Mammoth Nation did. They said, "Hey, would you guys be willing to be a part of our organization, and we can help you to help me to help you to help me?" And I said, "You know what? Let's do that." So here's what I need you to do. I need you to go to mammothnation.com/#WeThePeopleWork. Now, if you sign up, it's $25 a year. If you sign up, we get a little percentage of that goes to help us in our costs and expenses in running the show, the technology side of things, the gas side of things, because as you guys know, we're all over the place all the time. For example, we're going to be in up there in Plainview. I almost said hidden Plainview. We're going to be in Plainview this week, so it's not free, it's not cheap, and we need your support so that we can continue the work of We the People. We can hold our legislators accountable. We do all of those things. We ask the questions, we make the common sense, but we can't do it without you. And Mammoth Nation is saying, hey, we want to help support you because you're doing the same thing that we're trying to do. So go to mammothnation.com/#WeThePeopleWork. Sign up. You get to shop American-made products and American-made companies. So it's all about America, gosh darn it. Now, if you're not in a shopping mood right now, I get it. Even though Father's Day is right around the corner, you gotta pay attention, girls. Sharp. You can still support our show by going to TexasFullyLoaded.com. Click on the #WeThePeopleWork. You can also go to PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo at Texas Fully Loaded. Any and all support is greatly appreciated and gets poured right back into Texas Fully Loaded, our programming and our content, and holding people accountable. Gosh darn it, because that's what we got to do. All right, let me bring these amazing leading ladies back on this screen. Okay, yes, don't forget to like, comment, share, and follow. And push our YouTube channel because we haven't gotten kicked off yet. So we're excited. We are at a week and a half back onto YouTube. We haven't pissed them off yet. So let's see what we've got going on.
So let's keep trying.
Part of me wants to get us kicked off again just because it's kind of funny. But then the other part of me is like, there's so many people that don't use social media that if they don't catch us live, they can't come back and watch us. And so I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to censor us by any stretch of the imagination, but at the same time, like, YouTube, I need you to do better. Or Rumble, I need you to step up your partnership game so that we can do better, which is still owned by YouTube. I don't know the answer or the solution to these technical problems. That's not my department. I don't think any of us do.
Yeah. Is it
all
Charlotte?
the algorithms and it's just too much.
It should be Charlotte's executive producer. What? Oh, she's got shots. Give me that. It's fabric glue. She's got shots. Fabric glue.
Like that couldn't be a mess somewhere. Tell her she needs to earn her airtime.
Yeah, you're gonna do your part, girlfriend. She's conferring. So anyway, so I did say we want to talk about what's happening here in Texas because we have a lot going on. Charlotte, what? Go. What is that about show? We have a lot going on here in Texas. We have 2 weeks left of the legislative session. People are already getting pumped up at the prospect that Abbott might hold a special session, and I think people could forget that whatever happens in the special session is only literally what Abbott puts paper to pen on. So we love executive sessions and executive orders and the governor ruling us instead of us, ruling ourselves. But anyway, I digress. In this argument, though, let's talk about what is being heard today. Now, today we are hearing about SB 15. Sorry. I scrolled and I didn't mean to. SB 15, this is relating to requiring public institutions of higher education students who compete in intercollegiate athletic competitions to compete based on biological sex.
Save women's sports.
#Save women's sports. Let's put that all up.
Is this the Valerie Swanson?
We're really going to get it done this time, guys.
I believe you. As we're all very quiet on that one. I can't spell save, so we're saving women's sports here in Texas, which, hey, Rico
That's
Suave, right?
probably what will happen.
Most
It will
likely.
save women's sports, except for whatever caveat they tack onto that doesn't, in fact, save women's sports.
Before we keep scrolling, let's seriously have this conversation. And we've had it before, but gosh darn it, this is just obnoxious and it's irritating. The fact that we had to fight to get women's sports just to now have to save them from fake men. Because I don't even want to call them men, because they're certainly not acting very man-like. So they're fake men. So to save women's sports from fake men, from women who think that they have to fight for these fake men, I don't even understand what's happening here. We literally had to fight to get our own sports because it was not fair to put a woman and a man on the same arena. It just how often do we hear in the news about, let's just take wrestling, for example, or MMA, where a man who is a fake man and dressed up like a girl, and when I say that, they typically just throw on some lipstick or a sports dress once so that they can claim
I'm wearing a
themselves to be a
sports
woman.
bra. I'm a woman, okay?
I do apologize, ma'am. It is a ma'am like ham. I saw that meme not too long ago and I almost passed out. So we have these fake men who are competing as women, but they get in these MMA arenas or these wrestling tournaments or whatever. They're literally, apparently, we threw out the height and weight requirements now. That I guess is no longer a thing unless it's between biological sexes. So if a fake man comes into an MMA arena and is a foot taller and 150 pounds heavier, that's still fine because. Okay, go tell Alex. So,
well, as far as I know, MMA has weight classes.
See, they do. So I don't understand how with this women's sports one, when men are involved, because you see where these men are towering over these women. And you get these, and I'll pull one up here really quick. And then you get these stories of where a man knocks a woman out or fractures her skull with one punch in these tournaments.
Yeah.
And it's like all of the training in the world cannot make a difference between a 200-pound man versus a 100-pound woman's fist and head. It just doesn't happen.
Well, any woman who fought for women's lib ought to be totally upset with all of this, because all of that was for naught if they don't stop this kind of stuff. I mean, I really was never a women's libber in the first place. I'm more of I believe what the Bible says. And so it wasn't, I didn't necessarily want all the same things that men have, because they have different responsibilities. But all those women ought to be in uproar that their descendants are having to fight against biological men. And if I were in women's sports right now, I think I would just protest and not be there. And that hurts themselves, but they're not doing any until bills like this are passed to protect them. I mean, there's so many ways to solve this. Okay, if we want to allow these people who don't believe they're the sex they are, let's just give them their own little division.
Right, like
so we have men, women, and others, or something. The XYZ or whatever. I mean, that's the very least that they could do. But to me, whatever the autopsy is going to show is what you are. Whatever. Yep. Removing body parts doesn't make you less of or more of.
Guys, I saw pictures of an actual surgery.
Oh, that's
yes.
It
Where they make
was of a woman that they tried to turn into a man. And they showed how they harvest the tissue from the thigh with the connected blood vessels so that then they can place it. And it just did not even look like a penis. I'm sorry. It doesn't look like a penis. It is not a penis. It's just no. 1000% no.
no. Yeah.
So the name of the fighter is Fallon Fox, Fallon Fox,
Is this the
and
one that?
of course, yeah. So and of course now if you just try to easy search it, it's like there's a lot of misinformation about this, but then you have these pictures right here where it's the person's skull that they fractured, and things like that. So I mean it's. The fact still remains men and women should not be in a sports arena together.
Yeah.
Period. That's what we fought for. It was to be able to have our own, I say we, the collective female organization, we, not me personally or any of y'all personally, but this is what we were fighting against so that we didn't have to have these circumstances happen. We were supposed to be able to have a class of our own. If transgenders truly want their own thing, then let them have their own thing. But if like you were saying, if women want to have, we already had to fight for our right to party, so we shouldn't have to fight again for our right to party against fake men. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those no-brainer things. I don't want Charlotte competing against Arthur, even though size-wise they're not that much difference. But right now she might be able to take you.
Right, but later, yeah.
But later she won't.
It's not a fair fight.
No.
It's not equitable.
No,
Well,
not even for a second. I mean, I remember when I used to be able to pummel my brother. I mean, I actually busted his nose really good one time, like when I was still bigger than him. And then when he got when he got bigger than me, don't tell him I said this. He could probably take me now. So because that's
Speaking
just
of,
Suddenly.
he's kind of tall. He's kind of tall.
He tries to act like he doesn't listen to our show, and I think that he low-key misses it when I'm out of town or when he's not in town.
He misses the noise.
He misses. I had to laugh at him because I said something about something that happened on the show last week or whatever, and he just kind of looked at me all confused, and I was like, when I'm not home, you can still watch your mother's show, and he's like, I'm by no means a celebrity by any stretch of the imagination, but when you like, if you ever watched like back when you could care about celebrities, their kids would just be like, yeah, my mom is not cool, and like everybody else pays billions of dollars to go and see them in movies and all that kind of stuff, and then they're like, I get it.
Yeah, they have to live with you every day. They know what you look like when you wake up in the morning and that your breath smells and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, there's no mystique
When you
there.
come in and
Yes.
your hair is like,
get dressed for school right now. I'm not telling you again, and do all of your mom face and all that. Yeah, no.
The child off at the drop-off line is not the same person that you see on Texas Fully Loaded every day. Let's just say that way. Usually pajamas and the morning breath is still very much the thing.
I remember when that young man was the tech on this show.
I know.
Whatever happened to that?
Things were better off. No, he's becoming cool and trying to be more independent. As I say that, he's still my lifeblood because we got in late last night and I had just gotten out of the shower. I'm trying to throw myself together and everything. And I said, Walt asked if I'd sent out the link yet to you guys. And I said, no, not yet. I said, gosh, I still got to set up my computer. And I said, wait a second. Alex is home and he loves his mother and she knows she's a spaz. So he's probably.
Sandra, you silenced yourself again. Would you repeat that?
Maybe. Can you hear me? Anyway,
Put your hands in your pocket.
the door.
Sit on your hands.
Right? What do you keep doing to yourself?
What's funny is I keep looking at, I have fingernail polish sitting here and I'm like, I should paint my fingernails so that I'm not over here messing with the freaking cords or touching something else. But then I look down and I can't, it's very not okay. But anyway, Alex was amazing as he always is. And I looked outside or looked out of my room into the office and he was setting up all of my computer stuff. I said, if you want, you can take the next step and just set up the show too. And he's like, absolutely not. And then
Alex, we appreciate you.
We love Alex so much. I'm literally, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself when he decides that he's ready to leave the nest in a couple of months.
You start training up the next one.
Yeah. Austin tried to do something last week when Alex was out of town, and I was like, we've got some work to do here. And he's like, no. He's like, Alex is a sucker. I am no sucker. I demand payment.
He's the middle child, right? Classic.
Yep. Tell him that the car keys will be held up until you see what he can do to help.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Well, then he also made the statement, Alex wanted to do something or whatever, and I don't know what this girl is on today, but she's getting on everybody's last nerve. Anyway, Austin was trying to do something or Alex wanted to do something. And I was like, I said something and Austin goes, I don't understand why that fool is messing around. I'm gonna have my own money. I don't have to worry about you guys giving me stuff. And I was like,
when's this going to start?
Well, so he's really upset because he can't work right now. So, and I keep telling him, I was like, we have a pressure washer. Like you could pressure wash people's driveways or, wash their cars or things like that. But he wants to go have a job at like a restaurant or at a store or whatever. And I get it. But in the same breath, I'm like, you could set your own hours if you would just do what I've been telling you to do for the last 2 years.
Right. In the meantime, some money is better than no money.
Yeah. And he dog sat for a neighbor of ours, and he did it for, I think, like 4 or 5 days. Maybe it was only 4 days. And they paid him like $80. And he's like, I am so glad that you told me to do this because I almost didn't do it. And now I have money. And I was like, that's how that works. It's crazy. Crazy.
Yes.
Don't get yourself in volunteer positions like your mother. Like actually make money. We believe in capitalism. I promise we do. So anyway, back to the transgender stuff. So transgenders sports, we're trying to save that now in high school, or I'm sorry, on the collegiate level is what we're about right this minute. And then, oh, hold on, I accidentally quit sharing that. Let me reshare what else we're hearing. And I did the calendar for both chambers today. So we'll probably see a little bit of both going on here. The general calendar, we have SB 2289 relating to the exemption from ad valorem taxation of equipment or inventory held by a manufacturer of medical or biomedical products to protect the Texas healthcare network and strengthen our medical supply chain. Bonin and Huffman are working on that, so I'm sure it's absolutely trash. I'm sorry to say.
Right. Why do they get to be exempt? Why can't everyone be exempt? Stop taxing us to death. How about that?
Let's see. Huffman and Burroughs. Here's another good one, I'm sure. 1361. Relating to the unlawful production or distribution of sexually explicit videos using deep fake technology creating criminal offenses. So do you guys know anything about that one?
I've seen some deep fake videos, but not the pornography variety. So I guess they're just targeting people who would be, for example, if they took a video of a celebrity and then made it seem as though that person was performing sex acts using AI. And they can do it now, I'm sure, because, I've seen deep fake videos of Grandpa Earpiece, and they're very convincing. If I was an idiot, I wouldn't know any better. We can't hear you, Sandra.
What is Grandpa Earpiece? Is that like a real person, or is that you're just being funny?
Joe Biden, Grandpa Earpiece.
Oh,
And that makes it even creepier when you think of that.
yes.
Stop smelling my hair.
Also, he's no longer called Salad Bar on this show. It's now Grandpa Ear.
Yes, who is that? Oh, you know who calls him that? Good gracious, what, you know who I'm talking about? She has her, Angela Box. That's what she calls him.
Funny.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
that's
what
funny.
she calls him, and it just stuck with me because it's so perfect. Like, people are constantly directing him, telling him what to do. I mean, and just
I think my favorite thing as of late is still where Jean-Pierre was trying to imply that he was not being fed questions ahead of time. And he's literally holding the freaking thing up for everyone to see. And then her response is, but if you noticed, that was not even the question that was asked. What was written on that very well-to-do flyer.
with a picture of the person who's asking the question so he knows where to look. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of, and I understand you need prep and those kinds of things, and that makes sense, but this is way beyond that. This is Grandpa Earpiece.
I mean, there was a video of him just, I think it was last week, where he's with military members and he's just stumbling around and he's looking around like, I don't know what to do now. And it was just like, he literally just was like, and just starts walking off. And, part of it is hysterical. But the other part of it is truly sad.
It's disturbing.
Yeah. It's like, is there just not one person in his world that is like, you know what? I know, but it's time for you to sit down.
No,
all
that
of the
family
signs are
is
there.
Trash. That
They
family
are trash.
is trash. That
Ugh.
they would let him be put into this position speaks volumes about that family, including Jill, not a real Dr. Biden.
Hey, Joe is now not a real Dr. Biden also.
What?
Did you see that? You didn't see that?
His degree.
He got a degree this last weekend at Howard University.
Honorary degree in.
So do we have to call him Dr. President Biden now?
I'm not. He's president. I need a doctor. Yeah. I need to be locked up somewhere.
You're going to love this.
I know that Sandra
I know it's Fox News, but this was just the first one that popped up. Howard University's criteria for Biden's honorary degree draws mockery as mental fitness is questioned. So in here, the doctor of the university, or the dean or whatever, president of the university, Dr. Wayne Frederick, gave high praise, saying that Biden is admired for his sound, analytical intellect, and open embrace for all. Your popularity on both sides of the aisle of the United States led to your illustrious reputation and outstanding service of 36 years as a Democrat senator from Delaware, beginning at the tender age of 29.
I think the only thing that we could admire him for is being a public figure this long and not have been locked up.
Yeah.
For his criminal activities.
Yeah.
He and a few others, allegedly.
If you're sending your kid to that school.
To what?
I said, if people are sending their kids to this college.
Oh, yeah. Y'all probably know who we're talking about. Pete Hegseth off of Fox, which I think he probably will be one of the ones that leaves before too long because he's a true conservative. He actually tore up his degree, and I forget what college it was to, when something similar to like this happened, and he said, and it was an Ivy League college that he earned a degree from, and he just tore it up on the air because he said it's worthless now because they're doing such. I mean, gosh, sending a kid off to college now, you have to really think about it. There's a few that I would consider. Liberty University, maybe.
But
Anyway,
Because the Falwell family, I mean, they had quite the fall from grace, and growing up in Virginia, that was, of course, was the premier college for so many kids to go to, and I can't tell you the number of people that I personally know that have gone to that school, and within one semester have come out as a raging liberal and flaming heterosexuals. I know somebody who got got a master's degree there in psychology, and is now doing stuff that's just like talking about the mother of all of us, and like all of this other like hippie crap, like it's anymore. And I
don't know. I didn't have that experience when we used their online academy for
I think it's the difference between the online and the in-person.
Because we used it for 4 years for 5th through 8th grade for my son, and we definitely didn't have that experience through the online academy, but I really can't speak on their college and on campus situation. But
yeah, I think it's the on campus situation, because I went to Liberty University online also, and I had a great experience. I had good professors, all of those kinds of things. Like, I can't complain about that. I think it's because of their strictness on campus. I think it's because they, Walt kind of touched on it earlier this week, and it's something I've said before too. A lot of, especially our generation and older, it was always like the PKs were the ones that were always getting in trouble, right? My dad was a PK, so I can tell you stories that make your head spin off. And so you kind of have that little bit of mentality of that's what ends up happening when you get there. It's like the kids who are supposed to be the good kids are the ones that are causing all the problems, right? And
there's no good kids, just like there's no good adults. We're all depraved. We all need Jesus. So stop with all that. Just stop it.
Sandra, did I hear you say that Walter was touched
in the head? He was touched by an angel. He'll go back and rewatch this. I have to be sweet.
Was he smacked in the back of the head? We love you, Walter. Sort of.
Okay, I have a quick, Sandra, what else did you have on the House? Because there was one bill that I wanted to talk about, and it's that one with Charlie Guerin, where he's trying to squash political speech.
Yeah.
Do you have a bill? Let me see if it's on the agenda for today.
It's 1585.
It is not on the agenda today.
I think they already discussed it.
So yes, that's a good one though.
It passed the House, and now it's going to the Senate, I do believe. And it's ridiculous.
Give it to us, Rachel.
Well, they're okay. So take, for example, I think it's Texas Family Project that ran the ads in Speaker Phelan's home district about him not coming out against the drag shows for minors, right? Mm-hmm. And it would be basically to prevent political speech for you to advocate one way or another for or against a bill, or for or against a candidate. Just adding another layer of policing on there of what we can and cannot say as citizens, as just regular people. So if you want to do it, you have to form a PAC and do the reports and pay a fee, and just Rachel Heisler, citizen, can't just say, I don't support this.
Wow. So you would not be able to come on to Texas Fully Loaded. Texas Fully Loaded would kind of almost have to cease to exist unless we started running ourselves as a PAC, which then draws into other issues, because then if you're a PAC, you can't, you're very limited in what you can say and do, because there are so many TEC and FEC rules depending on how you file.
Right.
It would be an absolute crap show. But I'm not surprised by this, because then you have there was a bill, and I can't remember now what it was, or something that happened, and Young Liberties, Young Americans for Liberties, or whatever, what Young Americans for Liberty, they peppered Steve Toth's district with something that he got really upset about, and they're like, well, I mean, but this is what you said, and he's like, well, they should have never that. Who do
They shouldn't be able to use my own words against me.
Yeah. And they are a group. They are an actual organization. So I think that it's, this is just more political theater. It's more stripping away your First Amendment rights. It's just more and more and more of this nonsense and rhetoric that we've been trying to draw the attention to what's going on. There was a bill that was being heard in, I think it was South Carolina, and it was about the abortion bill, I believe. And it passed both chambers of their legislative body. The governor vetoed it. So, and they came back with a 2/3 majority, or whatever their majority is, that they could overturn the veto. But this was a long, drawn out process. This is not something that was able to happen in a short amount of time, like what our legislative session is. And so I found that kind of funny, because this is part of the arguments of what I've been saying, is that, when we have this little itty bitty window of time to cram 7,000 bills down our throats, we can't have the opportunity to truly argue them out. And we get bills like this that get snuck in, or whatever, right?
They're
Rachel?
not sneaking it. No, they're not sneaking it. That's their priority, Sandra. That's what's important to them.
Until they get in front of you guys at a luncheon or at an event and say, we had the best session ever. We're here for you.
Golly, we just ran out of time. But if you elect me again, I'm going to get it done this time. I'm going back. I'm going to fight them on it.
Hey, Rachel, we just need to pass it so that we can get something on the books, and then in 2 years we can fix it.
Yes. And if we pass it, we can read it.
I hate this.
I mean, they just think we're dumb.
Yes.
You know what I think the problem is here? There's too many of us sitting, like the three of us, that maybe we ought to be there doing the job. And how many people are there like us out there that, I mean, I know that there are people out there smarter than I am that have the right idea. We need to elect people like that and get them there so that we can, and you have to overturn them every few years, because when you get there, then after a session or two, it becomes a game.
Yep.
And it's all a club, just like it is in DC. So, we the voter, I don't necessarily say term limits. I say the voter needs to take control and get rid of ones that have been there long enough that they're start to play the game.
Yes. And I do want to say that my rep, Terry Leo Wilson, she voted against that bill by Charlie Guerin. And I have been very satisfied with her performance so far this session. I will say that this is her first session, but I think people who know me know that I do support term limits, because I'm sorry, we are just not mature enough as voters to do it ourselves. We just need to have term limits.
Here's a fun one. Ted Cruz has been preaching what for the last 12 years? Term limits. And if he truly believed in term limits, then he would only be running. He wouldn't be running for his third term.
Yeah.
I mean, I think term limits it's good in a lot of ways, except that there are times that there is no one that comes anywhere close to being as good as reputable as the person there. So if there's not someone running against them, and we can't find someone to run that would be good.
But see,
that's a major exception, though.
Well, it
hardly ever happens. They all turn rotten.
I know here in Montgomery County, when we have offices and somebody runs for an office and you go, is that really going to make things better? It would be someone new, yes. But in a lot of cases here, not necessarily better.
But I think that some of that problem, though, Ms. Patty, is that you get the system is working against anybody new coming in. And so you can have the perfect candidate and you can have the perfect agenda and you can have all of the support of everybody, including your mama. But if the system says, no, we're keeping this incumbent because we've got them where we want them. And you can use the words voter fraud if you want to. You can use the words work again. You can use whatever terms you want to use. When you take my race with Cassie, for example, nobody still knows who the hell she was here in the district. And people are like, how did you not win at least through the primary again? And I'm like, that's a great question. I'll tell you why. We didn't play the game. We didn't play the game they wanted us to play. We were actually doing the work of the people. You know what I mean? And it's not a slam, it's not a slide, but when you have somebody, when you know that this is how it should be, and then you have so many people who are highly qualified who go, you know what, I'm not putting up with that BS. I'm not going to.
No, they won't even
I'm not going to put up the slander. Yeah. And as long as we keep cultivating this system of, well, they've been doing a really great job, so we may as well just keep them. Even if they're a good guy. And I told Louis Gohmert to his face. I loved Louis Gohmert. I think he was the best thing that Washington, D.C. had going for it. I sat in the Capitol Hill Club and I told him to his face when we were talking about him running for Attorney General. I said, I love you to pieces. And I think that we would have a huge hole that I don't think will ever truly be filled if you leave Washington, D.C. But Louis, I preach term limits and I'm serious about term limits. And so you're past your expiration date. And he just started laughing and he's like, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong on that. And that's the whole thing. Like if we say that we believe in term limits, then that means that we have to believe in them regardless of, well, I've been doing such a great job, so I may as well stick around for another 6 years. Right. And look at how people love Ted Cruz in his first term. By the halfway through his second term, he started to smell like expired milk. And now people are just like, get the bum off the stage. Like they don't want to have anything to do with him. But nobody's going to dare run against Ted Cruz except for radicals like a Dan Crenshaw, for example, because he's too good to fail. He's already bought and paid for by DC.
And if they were to be in the same race and it was just those two, which one would you choose now? But you can't do that, Rachel. That's quick.
I know.
But okay. Case in point. It looks like there's two people that are running for SD 15 next time, which is one of our districts. A state rep that has been there for several years. Not perfect, but he's the most conservative legislator. He's on top of numerous lists. Steve Toth. He's going to be the person running against him who's never been there is going to be Skeeter. I'm trying to think what his last name is. He's the president of the CISD board. What was his name? Hubert. Skeeter Hubert. Okay, he's going to be running against Steve Toth. Now, Steve's an incumbent. He's been there for several sessions. So by your term limit rule, you're going to have somebody who allowed and continues to allow pornography in CISD, and you want him to be a state rep? If those are your choices.
I want a good person to run, and a good person won't run because Steve Toth is an incumbent and he's guaranteed to win.
Well, so I don't think necessarily.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Number one, we still have a long time until November.
Against him.
We have a long time until November filing date, number one. So there's still plenty of time to convince somebody else to run. But nobody is going to run knowing that everybody's going to continue to support Steve Toth because, well, he's got a good track record. It doesn't matter for the first half of this year, this calendar year, since January, the number of text messages that I have personally been in where Steve Toth screwed us again. He lied to us again this time. He did this, but hey, we're going to vote for him because we don't like Hubert. So where is the motivation for let's take
But
somebody. Let's
I'm
just
saying
take a Rachel, right?
we're past that. We're past the deadline. This is all that's running. So in that particular case, you have to choose the best person for the job. You can't just say, well, we need to replace him because he's been there.
But if we start cultivating that healthy election environment now, I mean, we're still it's May, so we're still 6 months away from the first day that you can start filing to officially have your name on the ballot. So in 6 months, you can't find, and we're just picking on 15 because that's the one that Miss Patty brought up, just as an FYI. But for 6 months, now we can't find another person who might be truly qualified, who might truly care about all of these things that everybody says that we care about. But we're not, that person is going to go, why should I run? Because everybody's already said that they're going to support the incumbent. The same people who've been preaching that term limits should matter, we're not going to. There is zero reason for me to run because I know damn good and well that I'm going to get slaughtered because, well, Steve's got a reputation that, he's got a voting history. And yeah, everyone was cussing him out for 4 to 5 months. But now he's got a good history. So we're just going to let him sit there.
We have two other districts. We have 2 other districts that are saying we can't find anybody to run for those, so the incumbent will win because nobody will step up.
Because
that's a real problem too.
That you can't beat an incumbent.
Yep.
I think most of them just don't want to. I think most of them don't want to give up their life to be a part-time legislator. I don't know. It's a harder job than.
Then why do all those people do it? There's got to be something in it for them. Well, if they're not there for truly the right, pure reasons.
Well, I would love to see there's good and bad about replacing all incumbents. You don't want to do it all at one time for sure, because then no one would know what they're doing at the state capitol except for the Democrats who have been, a lot of them. How long has the
term limits would be for everyone, not just Republicans.
Well, yeah, but
we'll never get that passed. So I don't know why we're wasting a bunch of time.
I doubt that would. I would like to see new people step in, but by the same token, they have to do their homework before they can run.
Yes, for sure.
When we go ahead, Miss Patty.
Charlotte came in because she had something to say.
Yeah, she found painter's tape.
Yes, I could use some tape
for her. We're over here when we start looking about. We were talking earlier about the bill in South Carolina. The governor that vetoed it is a Republican. I love you so much, but if you don't go and play somewhere else, we're gonna have to throw hands, girlfriend. So, when we start looking at these real things and these real conversations, like, well, he's a Republican, so we just have to keep voting for him. You know what I mean? Because nobody's going to run against a Republican. Now you got a Republican who's vetoing, a 12-week abortion ban. When is enough? We keep putting, at this point, we, the collective, are putting Republican above priorities. We're putting the word Republican above platform. We're putting John Cornyn above the Republican Party. Why? Because, he's the incumbent, and we just have to keep voting for him because he's the Republican. I don't put
John Cornyn above anything.
But it's the same conversation.
Right,
if you replace the name John Cornyn with
above
Steve
the trash
Poe,
can. I put him above the trash can.
Because, realistically, most of the times John Cornyn actually votes Republican. He just doesn't freaking talk about it. He's a crap bag who says stupid crap in front of his delegation. We know in his rhetoric, he's not a Republican, but then when he votes, he's pretty much a party line voter for the most part. And then what? Then we have, so if with that being the case, he's voting the right way. So we may as well just keep voting for him because he is a Republican. He's been there a long time. And if McConnell finally kicks it, then he gets to become the majority leader or the minority leader, depending on which way we swing. Replace the name, but insert a politician. As long as they have an R, we're still voting for them. So that's all that matters.
Well,
and it's not creating an environment where new Republicans or new people will actually come in and win unless they sit here and play this party game and get the blessing of Washington, D.C. or the blessing of Austin. Because now we have the boroughs issues, we have the Phelan issues, and we saw how many Republicans did not get elected or got elected because they promised to kiss the ring. They didn't promise it to their constituents, but they promised it in the background, and that's all that matters is when they're on their knees, not what's in front of everybody. I mean, this is exactly what we're going to do. And honestly, I still think it's far too early for anybody to say, I'm fully supporting this candidate when we still have 6 more months before the filing date.
Well, yeah, I mean, people that do that ought to be ashamed of themselves. Because until the facts are in, until you know who all's playing the game, and investing their time. Plus the fact that you need to, like, when people start and they file, you have to watch them, see if they actually say the same thing over and over again, see if they're really you have to learn how to read the candidates and research them to know that that's really what they are about. And unfortunately, if somebody just signs a petition, they're going to back somebody, or signs on to back somebody
without doing their
before
research.
all the people are in. The perfect candidate may come up, and you've already committed yourself to be for someone else.
Right.
Yes. So I have people that I have been asking to support me, and a couple of them have said, "Oh, I wish I had known sooner. I already said I'm going to support so and so," because they didn't know that I was going to run. So, I mean, it's just part of it.
Well, it is part, but
and that was the same thing. I mean, we ran into it in both elections, and it was really funny because even after I was the only person on the primary ticket in 2020, we still had people say, well, we just need to see what happens. And I'm like, see what happens with what? I thought you were voting Republican. I am literally all you got, folks. Like, this is it. I'm so sorry that nobody else in this district had the balls to stand up, but here we are.
Well, it's sad how many people don't vote in the primary. They just wait.
They don't vote. They don't support.
Well, yeah, they just wait to see who's chosen, and quite often the right person doesn't get chosen.
This is what
Which
they
way
do.
the wind blows. Yep.
Who's everyone else supporting? Yeah.
We have a bunch of followers.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's very sad. Yeah, we've been trying. We at the Tea Party have been trying for 11 years to help educate voters.
Yes.
They don't have to like who we like. We just compile the information so they can go to one place. They can see the information that's been gathered, and they can decide whether they like that person. It's their job to further look at them and see if it's somebody they really want to support. But amazingly, you go to the polls and you work at the polls, and time after time, what they want is our voter guide, and they just blindly, whoever's voter guide they get handed to him by their closest or dearest friend, not most reputable necessarily, that's the one they take in and follow.
Hey,
just
the
so
only
they
thing
can vote.
that it needs to have on it, Miss Patty, is this. That's it. That's all it needs to have on it. It doesn't have to have any kind of anything else on it. As long as there's an elephant on it, your blanket voter will just go, oh, well, this is who the Republicans are choosing. Okay. And that's the problem. This is exactly the problem. We can't keep doing this old school game and expecting new results. And that's what keeps happening. Like I said, we were picking on Toth just a little bit ago, just because that was the name that we brought up. But that's the same thing that's getting played out in every single race across the country. Whether it's a school board race, whether it's a House district race, whether it's a U.S. Senate race, it doesn't matter. It's the exact same. Here's the chessboard. Oh, there's an incumbent. Yes, we've been cussing him out for the last 6 years, but you know what? That's fine. He's the incumbent. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. Oh, wow. This is a really good candidate. Someone should support them. We're going to vote for the incumbent because, well, we know who they are. Yeah, we get dicked over all the time, but you know, better luck next time. Maybe if they ever quit running, then you should go and run.
But those are the people who are the mildly educated voter. The educated voter doesn't vote the same way. Unfortunately, there's not enough educated voters. The uneducated voter goes off of the person whose name sounds most familiar, who just happens to be, in some cases, the incumbent. Now, let's say we have somebody else run in Sheila Jackson Lee's district next time, since she's not running. So she can't win that one unless they really find a new way to cheat and let someone win that's not running, which I wouldn't put it past them. But if somebody else's name who sounded like hers ran, there are uneducated voters that would vote for that person just because it sounds familiar. I mean, there's some names that are, in fact, I won't mention their names. There's some names of prominent people who happen to be the same as a famous brand of liquor. And those people, do you think they win those races because of who they really are? Or do they win it because their name is familiar to people?
We had in Congressional District 2020, in 2020, we had, there was like, I think there was 14 people, I think, that ran in that race, 14, 16. It was some stupid number, right? Mm-hmm. One of them was Mauro Garza. There was a lot of really good people that were running in that race. But what was funny is there ended up being a runoff election in that race. Do you want to know who was in the runoff election? Mauro Garza and Alan. It was the same name as a country singer.
Jackson?
No. It was Texas country. Oh my gosh. I can't think of his name. Anyway, his name was exactly the same as the country singer. And I think I'm 100% certain it was a Red Dirt Road country, Texas country singer. And when he shows up to these events, now he was a very nice, don't get me wrong. He was so nice. He was a deacon at his church, just very humble, very quiet kind of person. But he literally brought nothing to the table. There was no pizzazz. There was no personality. He had the strong convictions in a conversation, but he couldn't portray any kind of strength from a stage. Right. So anyway, he gets up there and the runoff happens, and people, exactly to your point, people voted for the name because they thought it was a country singer.
So Rachel,
crazy. I'm gonna have to look up it.
We have to pick a nickname for you that everybody.
Something
Rachel.
Everybody remembers, but something we have to be able to say in churches. Guys,
you know what? I've never had a nickname ever. So.
Oh, that's funny.
I only had one from an aunt. Who called me, and she was the only one that ever called me by that nickname.
I have.
Other than that, Dennis calls me lots of things, but
nothing we can say on the air, Miss Patty. We're going to take a commercial break while Miss Patty cleans her potty mouth. We'll be right back.
I didn't say that. You talking?
I was trying to race to get my fingernails painted. Didn't work. I didn't get them all done. So excuse me. A huge thank you to our matching sponsors, the Montgomery County Tea Party. Look, now I'm not touching them cords because I don't want to get my nails on messed up. A huge thank you to the Montgomery County Tea Party. Don't forget the first and the third Monday of every month, be it Citizens Grill in Conroe, Texas at 6:30 is when the meeting starts. So get there a little bit early. You might need to pinch somebody in the nose. Just kidding. Give them a hug. Be sweet, Charlotte. Also, a huge thank you to the Vietnam Veterans of America. Your service and sacrifice went far beyond a distant shore. You continue, even to this day, 2023, to serve and sacrifice for your community and for your fellow service members and their families. So we truly appreciate everything the Vietnam Veterans of America are doing and continue to do. Find a local chapter, get involved, even as an auxiliary, or just somebody shows up and gives them some support. If you are interested in hosting a commercial here on Texas Fully Loaded, help us to make your dream a reality and vice versa, just like Mammoth Nation did. Go to mammothnation.com/# We the People Work. I need you guys to remember that hashtag We the People Work. That's the most important part. Well, of course, after the mammothnation.com/ part. If you go there, sign up. It's $25 a year. They also have a couple of other plans. And when you do, you help support Texas Fully Loaded. We get a little kickback from there. And we're promoting conservative businesses. We're promoting American-made and American manufacturing, all of that fun jazz, all the stuff that we say that we are all about. We the People Work. So make sure you go to mammothnation.com/ We the People Work. Support them, support us, and get some great products. You're not going to want to miss out on that stuff. Stuff for phyto, stuff for your supplements, some beauty products, some vino, whatever you need. Make sure you go there. Cigars, chocolates. So remember, we ain't eating them woke chocolates no more. Not today, honey child. So we really appreciate Mammoth Nation allowing us to be a part of their network and vice versa. If you don't have a commercial or something that you want to sponsor, but you still want to show some love and support to our show, please go to TexasFullyLoaded.com, click on hashtag We the People Work, and you can support us that way. You can also go to PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo at Texas Fully Loaded. And if you see us in person and you want to give us some love and support that way, we truly appreciate you. And of course, the easiest, most simplest, freest way to do it is to like, follow, share, support, and comment right here on Texas Fully Loaded, because we need to break these algorithms. Simon's back. Oh, what? Just so you guys know, it is now legal to steal property in Atascosa County. So to each his own. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It was can I say a little bit, Simon? It was a property dispute issue over a driveway easement, I believe is what it was. And even though the survey was saying, hey, this is actually this property, somebody else came back and said, no, it's ours. We want it. Apparently, Atascosa County agreed with them. Welcome to the new America, where I know it's in black and white, but it doesn't matter. It's about how we feel today.
Yeah, you know what I just found out recently, that at libraries, they're making it where there are no fines. So if you don't return your book on time or whatever, it's fine. No big deal.
So the one I had checked out from 1965, I can turn in now.
Yes, Miss Patty. You can get amnesty for your old library book. But it's
not in Laredo.
They're trying to start instilling that, I guess, in kids now. That it doesn't matter. You don't have to take responsibility for whatever.
Hey. What is it? What's that? Whose line is it anyway? Line that I always murder. The rules don't matter and the points the rules are made up and the points don't matter anyway. So, I mean, just do what you want. Just do what you want.
Just do what you want. Check out your teen porn book. Don't worry about turning it in on time.
Check out the teen porn book that tells you to make sure that you pay for your online porn.
Wait a second. So does that mean that you can go check out a book and damage it and not be fined?
No, that might be different, Miss Patty.
I don't.
If you're a Republican. Now, if you're a Democrat and you're for Antifa, I'm sorry, BLM. I mean, you can't tell the difference.
No, but- okay, but look at it this way.
Survey question when you
We
sign up.
can have a movement to go check out the bad books out of the library and never return them.
That would be stealing, Miss Patty.
No, I just didn't return it.
I forgot.
I
It got
can't
lost
find
in
it.
a horrible boating accident.
I was gonna say it was in the
Along
trunk
with
of my
my gun.
car, and it
Along
caught
with
on
the
fire
guns.
and drowned in a lake. I would have made. And it was the car that we didn't have insured because it's never on the road. It was very freak accident.
Uh-huh. I mean,
Allegedly.
there's some unintended there's unintended consequences to not having guns.
Hey, it's fine. I told you this is what's going to start happening. They're going to start asking questions in a sneaky way to see how you would allegedly vote, right? So they're going to be like, are you for X, Y, and Z? Are you against? Because we're just trying to find out who comes to the library. So when you get your library card, we're gonna conduct a survey just to kind of see who's coming to our library. And people will be like, oh, okay, I don't mind filling this out. Sure. Anything to help our community, right? Oh, that's kind of a weird question, but yeah, no, I'm for that. Okay. And then next time you go to the library and you have a fine, how did you answer in your survey? Oh, yeah. See, we're doing a new thing now.
Everything that's right is wrong, and everything that's wrong is right.
Correct.
Are your nails dry now?
They're not dry. They're drying.
Well, then go ahead and put them in your hair.
I had to do this so I don't touch anything anymore. That's why I was all like,
Is that your crystal ball?
It's fine. This is our crystal jellyfish ball.
Yes.
We got it. Where did Austin get this? He got it at one of the beach places or something. One time this last year on clearance at that, because he's a bargain shopper.
Does it glow in the dark?
Unfortunately not. If I could figure out how to glass blow to make this happen, I would have made it glow in the dark bubbles. I would have put like maybe glow in the dark paint, and then when you're blowing it, that way it can.
Obviously, you don't know how to blow glass.
Make sure you take a deep breath while you're holding in the straw.
Oh, yeah. That's a one-way ticket there. There's actually a glass blowing factory right across the highway in Mexico from where our condo is, that you can go in and watch them blow glass.
Cool.
Growing up in Virginia, right between Williamsburg and Jamestown, there's a glass blowing place, and so it's something that I just always been fascinated to go and watch. If you go to like fairs and stuff like that, every once in a while you'll see the glass blowers there as well, and it's really it's a very unique and very just it's cool to sit there and watch them do it. If you go to little touristy towns, every once in a while you'll see them also. It's a lot of fun, but never mind. Let's talk about Eric. Let's talk about bad breakups that didn't happen in Texas.
Just looking at that one and how that legislator just killed their own bill.
Well, technically, didn't they postpone it till the special session?
That's true. They postponed it till July, maybe.
It's postponed until the session. Yes,
Governor Abbott decides to put it on the special session.
If I recall correctly, and y'all have been playing the special session game longer than I have, don't they have to put it's just like a special meeting, right? Like an emergency meeting that your city council, whatever we'll call. So it is only whatever they put on the agenda. So it's not a buried like border security. It would be like border security HB 7. That's all we're going to discuss, and Godspeed. Is that, am I correct in that? Like it can't be border security at large. It's just going to be whatever specific.
No, I think it is a topic in general. I don't think it has to be a specific bill.
Okay.
Necessarily.
Yeah.
But it does have to be
correct.
That certain only within what's on the agenda.
Whatever that scope. Okay.
So,
dangerous way to do business, Texas.
That's what I'm saying.
It can't be anything new. It has to be.
Why didn't they just get the job done. Oh, right.
Because they
it's not
didn't
a
have the votes
priority.
to do it.
Wait, well, it was a priority. It just wasn't anybody who's
theirs.
elected as a
Not anyone who
paid.
matters.
It's not anybody that's a paid elected individual. You know what? I want to pull this up. I'm friends with on
You have
Facebook.
friends?
Don't tell my kids, but it happens once in a while. I've never kidnapped any of them. However, none of them have the ring of power. Just like I mean, I don't have any friendships like that. You know, I'm not Putin, for crying out loud. Oh, we didn't even talk about that today, but I don't know how much. Oh no, we only have like 4 minutes left. I don't know where the time always goes. So there's a friend of mine that works for Sid Miller's office, and she put this on her door, and I thought that this was so important. And I hope that more people will do this and truly, wrong button, will truly follow suit with this mentality. Now, she's not an elected official. She works for an elected official. But she said, look, I want more people to realize that they're not just coming to work, even if they're not the elected representative or official, that they are working. If you work here in Austin, you are working for the people of Texas. You're working for the Texas taxpayers. And so she put this on her door and she said, my salary is provided to me by the hardworking Texas taxpayer. It is my role and responsibility to earn every dollar, and I proudly work for the Texas taxpayers. Could you imagine if our representatives and our senators and their staff actually started like having to have some sort of accountability for that?
Well, the accountability is supposed to be us. We're not doing our job as voters.
Well, let's play the short game. Well, there's activist groups that go up there all the time, so they're not listening.
Miss Patty. Exactly. We're not allowed to fix it. We're not allowed to do our jobs because we'd end up in jail.
Hey, but we can threaten activists with SWAT over 6-year-olds allegedly consensually having sex, oral or non, or whatever,
and filming it.
That's right. All of that is fine, even if the little girl didn't know she's being filmed. That's fine.
This is fine.
Everything's fine. Everything is awesome.
John, she's doing it again. Where's John?
Look, the kid who doesn't pay attention to my show. Here he comes again.
It's about time you came in here and took over.
You know what? That is the perfect Texas legislature song, because it says everything is cool when you're part of the team.
Yep.
Everything is awesome when you're living your dream.
Yes. You know what?
We need to make that video.
We need to end on this
with the clips of them and that song.
Like a jib jab one where we put their head on somebody else.
Yes.
You notice it keeps getting dark here?
It does, yes.
It looks like
oh my gosh.
Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when we live in our dream.
We are out of time for today, y'all.
When we stick together.
This is literally the perfect song for the state legislature.
Forever, let's party forever. You're the same, I'm like you, you're like me. We're all working in harmony. Everything is awesome
in the Texas legislature.
Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome when we live in our dream.
I'm super excited because tomorrow, John and Rachel are going to be holding down the fort. So you guys make sure you're here to support them and show them love. You got to get hip with the times. You just have to yell over top of the music. That's what they do on other podcasts.
okay.
Rachel's going to be joining John tomorrow. They're going to be holding down the fort. I'm super excited. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to join them. Walter and I are going to be racing to get to Midland no, I'm kidding. We're not going to Midland. Where are we going?
Don't go to Midland.
Plainview.
Plainview. We're going to
You're going to Hidden Valley Plainview Ranch.
Tonight, I'm going to San Antonio for an event at Casa Blanco Road barbecue.
Never mind. You don't know
There's
where
so
you
much
are.
happening. Y'all just find us and support with the people work. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all.
Bye.